From Reese Pfeiffer Hall at the University of Alabama for the last time this semester, welcome back to the Alabama Frozen Hour podcast for episode 10, excuse me. I'm Hannah Alpern, joined by Logan Small-Williams, Alex Brown, and Zane Ratliff. Welcome to our final episode this semester where we're going to recap the season so far and just kind of share some of our favorite memories. And we don't have a clear structure, so we're just going to kind of feel it out and freeball it, see how it goes.
Let's do it.
So,
it's been a great year.
Yeah.
So far,
It
yes.
really has. So far.
Yes.
Well, we still have more to go.
Well,
with
the
hockey season.
Yes.
The actual hockey season, yes.
It was been good. Since August, I remember when we first met each other.
I know, right? We were
That
like
was-
a little timid. Now we're so comfortable with each other.
I was nervous though, like the first time we went to the rink because we didn't know each other
Yeah.
at all. We just had a call. I
Yep.
think so. We saw each other on
Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a Zoom
During the
conference
summer.
over
during the summer. We did a couple calls, but to get to the rink for that first time when they had the tryout,
Yeah.
it was a little bit nerve-wracking for me.
I was a little nervous no one was going to make it or find it.
Yeah, it was a little confusing, but I'm glad we all found it, made it.
I parked on like the
Perfect.
Civic Center side.
Oh, the far side.
Yeah,
far
because
side
I
of
remember
that
we said in
complex.
our chat, we were like, hey, park over here. And everyone was like, wait, where is this? No one knew where to go. It's like,
And they have like Elks Clubs meetings over there, and then they have like club meetings for like local county. They have like an elk. They might have.
me, but
I have never been on that side.
yeah.
So they have like local community meetings in there, and it's interesting.
Oh, interesting.
They have, I think they have a church service in there too on Sundays.
wow.
Interesting.
Did not know
How'd you,
that.
how'd you find that out?
Just from like being on the wrong side. Being on the wrong side. I did. But that rink is really nice. And you have the Birmingham Bulls play there. Obviously, we've been on the practice rink
Yep.
for
Yes.
a game in that. What series was that? That was the South Carolina series.
For
Tennessee series.
Yeah,
Tennessee series. We didn't play South Carolina here yet.
We played them in football that day. That's why.
Yeah.
That was
That's what it
exactly.
was.
We
Yes.
played them in football that day, and we were in the practice rink. And that was actually a good setup for us too.
Yeah.
But we
It's cold in there.
It is colder.
It's a lot colder in the practice than the normal, like freezing, hands numb almost.
I was
Like,
feel like they're going to fall off.
And when you're in the top row of the Birmingham Bulls rink, which we would call the main rink, it's just pretty balmy
it's a lot
up there.
warmer up there.
Zane and I were just in our polos.
Yeah.
In our polos.
Yeah.
When we're in the other rink, we have like a coat on.
Yes. Yeah. Do you guys have one that you like better?
I prefer the practice rink,
I prefer
actually.
the practice rink too. We really like that setup.
I
We
know,
really
it's
like
a
that.
hot take. Like we like.
Why?
So, I think because for me, I'm able to see like you're just closer to the action. I think you're able to see players' numbers a little better.
No question.
Even last names a little better, but it is a little weird kind of talking to like around a group of people. So like when we first talk and when you're saying like goal and you're screaming it out loud, like everyone's like looking at you and so because you're right next to everyone that's in the stands. But I just like being like closer to the action.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about that. And you feel a part of the game.
Yes.
The closer
yes.
you are to the ice, the more you feel a part of what's happening on the ice. And that was a cool experience to be on that rink.
Yeah.
I wore shorts that day. I should not wear shorts.
I remember that.
I was really, my legs were pretty cold.
I knew
my
we were on the
legs were pretty
practice
cold
ring
that
and I
day.
didn't say anything. I was like, that's crazy right there, Alex.
Shorts,
Crazy move.
I could not
But
have
if we
done
were on the
that.
main rink, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't
Yeah.
matter. Like, it would be fine.
We also don't know until we get there.
That's true.
That is
Just
true.
the day you wore shorts, we had to be on the practice range.
Exactly.
Did you wear shorts any other?
Nope. I did not.
No.
That
The one
was
game
that was the one game I
Did
wore
you learn
shorts.
your lesson on that
Yes, I
one?
will never wear shorts to the hockey rink again. Never. And to be there for even our first broadcast, I remember that.
Yeah.
You have to work out so many of the kinks. I know for Zane and I, we have to feel each other out.
Yep.
For those first, at least for the first day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you have to know each other's timing. And we have to get that sense of that here on the podcast too.
Yeah, we
Our
did.
first couple ones. But I feel like as we've gone, not just in the podcast, but as we've done more broadcasts, we really have a good feel for how each other is, and that's just from being around each other 1 to 2 times a week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It makes the chemistry a lot better and more natural, I feel like, and it's something you don't really pick up on until, like, we were just talking about it right before we started recording, like, just feels natural. We don't.
Yeah,
we just talk. Now.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Just having a conversation. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
but in the beginning, it was like I felt like it was almost so scripted. Like we literally
Yes.
rotated who did a question
Yeah,
when and
yeah,
everything. But
yeah.
now it's just whoever's
you
talking
just
is
jump
talking.
in when you feel comfortable. It's like when we first started doing it, was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It was very
Yeah,
like
it went around.
go around in a circle, but now we're just like, we got this.
Yeah, I feel like that's part of like the sports media industry though, is like, because you watch shows and it's so like just back and forth and they seem so natural, but you're like, how did they even get to that point? But it's like you see them around the office every day, so that
Takes time.
naturally
Yes.
makes it better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, and the more you're around each other, the obviously the more comfortable you get,
The better
and
the
the
chemistry.
product is. The better the overall product is. I think our podcasts have gotten better
A lot better throughout
the entire
yes.
year, and I think our broadcasts have too. We only had 4 broadcasts, but we'll have some more next semester, which
They're
we're excited
amazing.
about.
The broadcast, I don't know how y'all do that.
Yeah.
It sounds literally perfect, like
Oh, that's
almost
good.
ESPN.
Oh, that's
like,
good. When we have a crew, like
crew, I
yourself
was
on the
gonna say.
camera, when Jaden does an excellent job on his producing end of it, and Annie, yourself, Hannah, and leading us.
Jasmine as well. Like everyone does a great job.
It really turned out great. Each weekend we had great crews. And
It's a team effort.
It is.
Exactly.
It is. We wouldn't know how to set up.
Yeah.
We would not know how to set up whatsoever. And Annie, Hannah, and Jaden do, and Logan and Jasmine do an excellent job at setting everything up, or else we wouldn't have a broadcast to do. Because Zane and I had no clue.
Nope. I'm not.
Had some mic issues. in
We
the
have.
beginning.
We have.
Yeah.
How have you worked through those?
It's tough on some of those.
Yeah, I think for me, it's. I think I've been pretty open about. I think just hearing yourself, like when you're speaking, it's kind of got some getting used to, I guess. Like I know, like the Tennessee game, the first game, it was like super clear, perfect, like no issues at all. But there have been a couple games this year where I know when you talk into it, like you can hear. It's almost like you can hear yourself a second behind, and it kind of can. Throw you off a little bit, but I think it just takes practice. I think I've gotten a little bit used to it over the semester in a couple games, but it definitely takes some getting used to.
For me, I take an ear off. I take an ear off of my headset, and it helps me a little bit more with my flow. Because if you hear yourself, even if it's just a little bit behind you, like even just a quarter of a second behind you, it will slow you down.
It does.
It will absolutely slow you down. It sounds like you're just talking at one speed.
I also feel like I then start to stumble my
Yeah,
words.
you
words
stumble
because
your
you can
words.
hear yourself talking rather
the same
than
way.
And that happened to me so many times, even just in the middle of the broadcast. Alabama. You just think about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But as we continue our broadcast, as we feel more comfortable behind the controls as well, those issues will be eliminated, and they for the most part have been.
Yeah, it's all just practice. Again, I know we've it's been a couple years since we've been broadcasting games and stuff like that. So again, it's all just practice.
That was something that came back to me. It had been since March of 2024 that since I had broadcasted a hockey game, and it was a high school playoff game back home in Pittsburgh. And hockey was my favorite sport to call in high school. I loved it. We did over 30 regular season games, and we did a couple playoff games too. A playoff game each year. We were fortunate our team was good, and I really enjoyed being around the team and being at the rink even for those games, because I just love hockey so much. And to be back in the rink with you, Zane, and with our whole crew for that first game against Georgia, it was really exciting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that kind of takes me into my next question. Is I feel like we all will have the same answer, maybe not though. Do you have a favorite game from the women's team that you called?
I think this is going to be this. I think my favorite one is the second Tennessee game.
Yes,
I think just because obviously just because of how chippy it was, but I think it just kind of showed like even doesn't matter if it's on the football field, the gridiron, basketball court, hockey, like it's always going to be chippy, and there's going to be a rivalry there with Tennessee. So that was my favorite game.
I want to go with the first Tennessee game. I really enjoyed the first one when we were on the practice rink for that game, and it was a 7-0 game. They didn't score in that game. Tennessee didn't, and it was definitely a much closer contest, and it felt close. It felt close, even though it was 7-0.
Yeah,
it felt like it was closer than that. And Alabama didn't play their best hockey on that day, and anybody on that team will tell you that. Tennessee played well. Their goalie was excellent.
Amazing.
Excellent in that game.
Yes.
And their goalies were both really good that weekend. No, same goalie. It was the same goalie for Tennessee.
Same goalie.
Same
yes.
goalie. Garabedian was excellent in those games. Georgia had 2 goalies that they flipped in both their games, and they were excellent too. They were excellent.
Georgia's fun always.
But we forget in the shuffle that Natalie Coots has been really good for Alabama this year.
Yes.
And
has
been really good in every game they've played.
I feel like that's why they can keep their competitors to such few scoring. Obviously, it goes through the defense first, but her being the last barrier between the net and the puck going in, that speaks to her playing level as well.
I think you can almost kind of start getting complacent if you're playing teams that you know you're better than, you're maybe not facing a ton of shots. It's easy to kind of get off your game a little bit, but Natalie's done a great job of just, again, when her number's called upon, making great timely saves, to keep them in the game and stuff, and again, giving Alabama the best chance to win. So she's done a great job this year.
Yeah, she amazing. Really has. I've been really impressed by her stepping into this full-time goalie role, because last year she doesn't have a backup this year.
That's right.
And so I feel like the fact that she's, like you said, Zane, the only number that can be called upon for that is something super special. And God forbid she goes down, Alabama has to pivot and completely figure out a whole different path. And so I think the fact that she's been able to stay strong
and step up and do her role, that's something that's amazing.
Can we talk
and
about
only she can do that.
That's very true. I think if we could talk about the freshmen this season on this team, they've been remarkable. This influx of freshmen, we've heard from everybody that championship last year really put Alabama on the map. And they're getting recruits, and they're getting players that have even more hockey experience. And we've seen that with some of the players this season that have been freshmen.
Again, I've been really high on Melina, Benduveris all year. I mean, she's one of the best skaters, I would say, on this team, best puck handlers, and I've been really impressed with her all year. So
Evelyn Kohler's been fantastic.
Yes.
There really has been a tremendous influx of skill on the D end, on the offensive end, and we've seen a lot of players step up.
Yeah. And I think it also, going along with the rookies, the way the seniors have handled themselves and helped mesh this team into playing a line that can have a junior, a senior, any grade level is amazing. And the fact that these rookies just kind of slide right in and fit right in with this team is, I think it's one of the few teams that you see feel so meshed well together and play smoothly. And it's even when they do a line change, you can't even tell. You can tell when they're opening, closing the gates, jumping off the ice. Yes. But when I'll look down and look up, I won't even notice. And that's how smoothly they flow back and forth as a team as a whole.
I think it's also important too. Coach Laxton's done a really good job of almost switching up lineups and stuff. Again, there's any given game, any given day, you see a freshman in the starting lineup and stuff, and that's really important to have. So
honestly, you can't even tell when it's a freshman versus a rookie versus a senior because of how well their transitioning is, how smoothly they transition and work one as a team. You can obviously tell that it's one versus however many's on the team. It's so smoothly and transitioned so well that it's obviously they're working as one, as a team together.
Yeah, that's been huge. It's been huge, and we forget that they're only practicing one day a week, and their systems are good. They have great communication on the ice. They have chemistry with their line mates. That is so difficult to do with one practice a week, and it seems that despite that, they still get better consistently.
Yeah, I think that's credit to what they do off the ice, because again, and that just goes back to senior leadership, upperclassmen and stuff, getting the girls together, because they only do have one practice a week, but again, the closer you are as a team off the ice, the better you're going to be on the ice. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's without doubt.
Going into looking forward into the spring semester, we play Auburn and High Point. And High Point was one of the biggest testers for Alabama last season. So I'm interested to see how, coming off of a break, they will play. Because last season when we played High Point and Pelham, it was a early season game. And I think that spoke volumes to the team. But also coming off of a break, I think, are we going to see a different Alabama team? Or are we going to see just as more, if not more, competitive of what they were this past semester?
Yeah. I think too, one of the most important things is with a sport like hockey, and it can be basketball, whatever sport kind of crosses over from Christmas and Thanksgiving break into the next year, I think it's really important, if you want to play at the highest level and you want to succeed, keeping the stick in your hand, skating, conditioning, doing all that stuff, that's going to be really important for the team. And again, that's just unfortunately how hockey is you're crossing over from one year to another, and you have, they're going to have almost 2 months off really until they play again and they get back together. So
it's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. But again, if they want to accomplish those goals, again, they know that. Just
work for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they got to continue that they got to continue that in their quote unquote off season or intermission of the season with break. They got to be skating on their own ice back home, wherever they're from, and continuing to work on their skills, stick handling, shooting. Yeah. And because other than that, you're going to be at a deficit when you get back.
Right.
And you better believe those teams that they're chasing or maybe chasing to that finish line of the season, the South Carolinas, the Tampa Bays.
Yeah.
That's going to be important. Not Tampa Bay, just Tampa. University of Tampa. But when they're chasing them, you got to act like they're doing everything.
Yeah.
You got to do everything and then some.
Everyone wants that CHS championship. So.
Absolutely. And Alabama has a target on their back. Make no mistake about that.
Huge.
Right.
When Georgia and Tennessee are coming, they're playing the reigning CHS champions.
Yeah.
And they certainly come and play with an intensity in those games. And Alabama has to be wary of that every game that they play, there's a target on their back.
Yep. When you get to the top again, everyone wants to go after you. It's just how it is.
So.
Exactly.
I feel like not even
that's where you want to be.
CHS alone this year, but now they want to make an even further run at nationals. But that also comes with the break as well. When we play Auburn and High Point in January, and then it's not till March that it's really these big moment games again. And so it's like, how do you take that month of February and go to practice every week, once a week, but still do things in the gym, off the ice, and how do you continue that momentum all the way through March?
And that's tough too. I think like for other sports, including myself, like when you play a sport in a season and you take these times off and you're just practicing, it's really hard to stay motivated when where it's like you don't see the end in sight of like, I get to play another team in another jersey, like, so again, it's going to be tough, for them to keep practicing during that month of February, trying to stay motivated, and like the month usually flies by, but like making sure you're staying locked in, staying focused, and knowing that there is an opponent at the end of it.
And I think it's the discipline as well. And that's why even like this past semester we've seen like there are weekends where there's weeks in between games and things, and having to go to practice that week and be like, okay, well, we don't have a game, what am I practicing for? It's we're preparing for the months ahead.
Exactly.
Just being intentional with everything, that's the biggest thing, is intentionality.
And when you have essays, when you have final projects coming up that are due, you might be tempted to say, hey, I would like to miss this Wednesday night practice. That's not anybody on this team's perspective.
No.
And they're not doing that. They're going to practice regardless of what that sacrifice is on their part, because they're willing to make it because they love the game and they love their team.
Very well-disciplined team.
Yeah, for example, Morgan Grzybowski with her homecoming campaign.
Yes.
She literally filmed at practice.
She did.
And it was like, she's been so busy, but the fact that she was still able to make that hour, 45-minute drive all the way to Pelham, practice, and still work on her campaign while she was there.
The commitment.
Yes, exactly. And that, I think, not only to herself, but also to her teammates as well.
Yes.
Hopefully she wins that campaign. She's done a lot of work.
I know.
She's like a full campaign
want
staff.
her to win.
We'll find out we'll find out at about 3:30 on Saturday. So
And they announced that at halftime.
Halftime, yeah. About 3:30.
Wait, I thought they announced it Friday at the bonfire. Is that right?
Did they announce it at the pep rally?
Maybe they just get introduced on the
Maybe she gets
field.
crowned.
Oh, okay.
That might be it.
Yes.
You might know more than me.
I think
don't
they
know.
introduced
I'm
it
not
at the
sure.
pep rally
They probably do.
beforehand.
Yes.
You might know more than me.
And then maybe they all go in the field too.
I think that all
They
the
do,
candidates
yes.
go on the field, but they get crowned. Got it.
That would be amazing.
Friday.
That's gonna be an
so we'll
amazing
find out
opportunity.
in 2 days. Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. She's been working so hard, and
So hard.
we've known about this since the beginning of October.
Exactly.
She was first like working on it. She was like, keep it
a secret.
Yeah, and it's not official yet. She's still going through her interview process, but
Is there anyone better for that
yeah.
role, that homecoming queen role, than Morgan Grzybowski?
Right.
She's an impressive athlete too, but her leadership,
athlete,
just
yes.
who she is, the character of who she is outstanding.
She fits that role perfectly. Amazing, that homecoming queen role. I think that would be amazing for her.
She's one of the most well-rounded people there is. So.
And loved by her teammates too. Obviously, her teammates have been really involved with their homecoming campaign too, going to her events and being a part of that that marketing campaign that they have to do, and it's been cool to follow.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you guys could see one area of improvement that you want to see from the women's team coming back, what next semester, what do you think you would say?
You got one off the bat that you can think of? I'm trying to think.
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah, it's a hard question.
There's definitely room. There's always room for improvement, no matter how good you are as a team. My one would be neutral zone skating. So they do a great job. They're a fast team. Alabama's faster than any of the opponents we've seen this year. But when they're skating with a puck, it's a different story. There has to be some crispness in coming up the ice, breaking the puck out of the D zone, skating through the neutral zone with the puck, and with numbers into the offensive end to generate offensive opportunities. I think that's an area where Alabama struggles. It's a lot more dump and chase, which is okay if you have good forecheck, and Alabama does.
They do, and that's just their style. I mean, if that's their style that they want to play with, then again, they've done a great job at that so far.
Exactly, but it's important to possess the puck in the neutral zone. One of the biggest drawbacks in a lot of the games that they've had is turnovers at the offensive blue line and in the neutral zone.
Absolutely.
So to rein that in, got to have better passing and got to have a better breakout from the D zone to head up the ice with momentum, with speed. Because then at that point, it's tougher to turn the puck over when you have speed and when you have numbers. When you have numbers with both those. When you're skating slow and you're going through neutral zone, I think it's a lot more likely you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think for me, and I know I've thought about this realized this a couple times during games, is shooting for me. There have been multiple games, and again, granted, we talked about it earlier, Tennessee and Georgia, the games that we broadcast, have had great goaltending, but again, we've seen games where they've put up 60, 70 shots a game and, are scoring not even double-digit goals. So, and again, that can be tough too with only, like we said, practicing once a week. You're not getting a lot of reps, shooting on cage, and that's going to be important when they go back, back home for breaks and stuff, is just to get as many reps shooting as you can. But I think shooting's just, I know they probably think that they can score a lot more goals than what they've put up so far. Again, I know they scored 14 last game, but, I think we talked about the first Tennessee game, they probably could have gotten into the double digits. So
And I think going into next semester, playing a team like High Point and possibly playing a team like Tampa in the playoffs is something, I feel like those are two of the biggest competitors for Alabama. And like you were saying, Alex, the puck control in the neutral zone will be something that is very telling of both of those games. Because if they can't do that, then I feel like Tampa could easily take that away from them and go right down the ice and score.
And it was a problem in the Tampa game. Alabama did not possess the puck well in the offensive side of the ice. Not just in the offensive end, but also in the neutral zone, didn't possess the puck well. They had 19 shots in that game, over double. I think Tampa had over 40 in that game. So when you have a disparity like that, it's gonna be very tough to win that game. And they played well. The goaltending was good. Natalie was great in that game to keep it close. But that was a big reason why they lost that game to Tampa.
I think too, we've talked about multiple times on the broadcast, Alabama does a great job of winning puck battles and stuff, and winning puck battles and just hustling is going to get you really far in games. And it's going to be interesting when they play the High Points, South Carolinas, Tampa's, when they play teams that are as of equal competition and skill level, being able to win those puck battles, and like we talked about, just controlling time of possession is really going to take them far into the season.
I agree with both of those.
I agree with that. As both of you guys were saying, as in the puck control, skating neutral onto the ice, that is a very good point. As in saying, when someone's right on you, going almost as fast as you, you want to try and get around, get on that puck so you can make the goal, which is the whole point. And I think they could do a little bit better with, as in getting the puck into the goal, and as you said, skating neutral, as in getting faster against the person, on the person, like
Or even more so, just possessing the puck in the neutral zone.
Yes.
Yeah. I think those are all amazing points to make, but what would you say is like the biggest surprise of this season? Something that you weren't expecting, but
like from the team?
Both from the team or off the ice.
Logan, you want to go first on this one?
I would have to say the chemistry of the team, as in going into this team,
That's a great point.
Seeing how well everyone bonds, almost like as they are one true family. It was a very surprise as in how well they click together, as in being there's rookies, there's seniors, there's juniors. Whenever you're going into a new team with new recruits, it sometimes takes a little time for a team to come together, click. But this team, you immediately see how well they bond together, how well they communicate, which in only having one practice day a week, that's amazing to see how a team can come together that quickly. That means everyone has love for the game, everyone wants to be there, everyone is determined and committed to being and playing off the ice and on the ice.
This is a tough one. Biggest surprise for me would probably be I would say, well, I'm trying to think of something that would be.
I have one that's a little bit more like X's and O's type of thing. I'd say more from an X's and O's standpoint. I've been really impressed with mainly almost how positionless their offenses. And what I mean by that is, we talked about multiple times, like a couple of their top leading goal scorers are all defensemen. We have seen multiple games where 4 or 5 of the goal scorers are all defensemen. It's almost like a positionless offense where everyone is given the same opportunity to score. And I haven't seen that on a lot of, hockey teams to begin with.
I was surprised by the speed of the team. I remember from the first time we saw the tryout,
That's a good one.
they were doing laps, and Zane and I remarked, hey, this team is pretty fast. And they do have the legs. And they are faster than any team that they've faced at home, at least. This season, they're certainly faster than Auburn too, who they faced on the road this year. That is such a critical part of a good hockey team, is being able to skate with and past your opponent. And Alabama can do that with the best of them.
The faster you play, the more your opponents, they hate it. They do. And again, that was, like you said, one of the first thing we noticed 5 minutes into the tryouts when we were watching it. We were like, wow, this team, they're fast. They can move.
And that's a big part there to the talent they've been able to bring in. Because some of these other teams, they might not be able to recruit as well as Alabama does. And you might get people that not have as much experience playing hockey. And the more experience you have playing hockey, most of the time you're probably, you're definitely a more experienced skater. You're probably going to be a faster skater. And then if you're experienced skater, you're going to be experienced with possessing the puck, shooting, scoring, passing, all those fundamentals of the game that you need to expand upon to be a good hockey player, and that the components that make up a good hockey team.
Absolutely.
Kind of going off that thought, Alex, Kennesaw State forfeited this past weekend's game. They're supposed to play on Sunday in Pelham, but instead the girls decided to keep their ice time and just play against each other, Crimson versus White. What do you think that was beneficial towards in honestly getting an extra day of practice, you could consider it for them, but also just having that scrimmage against each other for the whole time?
I think it's a lot of camaraderie right there. You can break up the team in accordance with lines. You can have captains pick their own teams. And for this game, it was about working lines out, working systems out too. Because when you break apart a team in half, these players have to gel with each other. They have to gel with each other. They have to find chemistry amongst the group that they're broken up with. And it also frees them up to be able to play outside their means at the same time. You don't want to have to do too much when you're out there playing, but you also want to do enough. You want to do enough. You want to fulfill your role on the ice. And these girls do a great job of that during the game, but when you have it in a scrimmage format, it frees you up more to make mistakes. And I think it's important to make mistakes. In sports, in life. I used to read the Magic School Bus growing up. Miss Frizzle always said, get dirty, get messy, make mistakes. Because that's what you learn from. And when you're in an environment like hockey, sometimes afraid to make a mistake because you don't want to be benched, you don't want to give up a goal, you don't want to have a mistake on the ice that leads to a scoring opportunity the other way. But when you're in a scrimmage opportunity, it frees you up to try new things and also just to have a great time. And if you're having a great time, then that's a great opportunity to learn.
Yeah. I think too, like, a scrimmage like that just gives you, like you talked about, you're able to go in and make mistakes. You're able to try new things. I've had coaches tell me before, in practices, like, we almost want you to like turn the puck over or turn the ball over, whatever it is. And you're like sitting there like, what do you mean? Like, why do you know? But it's the more free you play, the more, confidence you play with to try new things is only going to make you better when it comes game time. And scrimmages like that, give the girls a chance to try shots that they maybe they won't try in a game. And, they get a practice that make passes or try new things that, they can kind of experiment with and eventually maybe lead that into game time.
I also think from like them playing each other, they get to watch each other and see, wait, maybe she did something that I need to do, or maybe I can work on that, something that she needs to work on. Playing each other can also give you a feel to how you can work on things. How can you better yourself? Watching your teammates. Yep. That's something like I would say would make the team better, as in watching the teammates and seeing, okay, this is something that she did, this is something that I can do, this is something that we can all work on and to make the whole team better.
Yeah, I think especially in certain matchups, you're so caught up and focused in your own game. Ultimately, yes, you are working as a team to get that win, but being caught up within your own game, I feel like half the time if you do make a mistake, it can just be like, that's what you're reflecting on the whole rest of the game. And then that ultimately causes you to make more mistakes because you're too in your head about your style of play. And so I think scrimmages like this can be super freeing for the team as a whole.
Absolutely. It also is great for conditioning. I know we used to do those, a lot of scrimmages in our sled hockey practices back home. And it was, the main purpose we did it for was conditioning. If you break it up into 9-on-9, then you're going to be running a lot of shifts. If you're playing like what would be like a full game or whatever you can fit in during your practice time. So you're going to be running lines quickly and you're going to be skating a lot. And that's great. That's great to have on your legs. That's great to have built up over the course of a season. And they haven't had the opportunity to have many scrimmages so far because during their practices, they're so focused on the skill-based drills and also on just learning the power play, learning the penalty kill. That's been a big emphasis of their practices so far this semester, especially with all the new freshmen they have, people trying to learn a new system. Some people have never played in the umbrella before. Coach Laxton was saying, which is one of the go-to systems for a power play. And they had to teach that this year, and which is good. And they've been successful on the power play. But they haven't had many opportunities to play against each other or to play in small area battles or just small area games like that. They're so much fun in a practice. Having a scrimmage is a great way to break up the general flow of drills that you have on a normal practice day and to say, hey, we've worked on all this in our practice. We have a scrimmage today. Apply what you've learned in that today, and we'll get some skating in.
Yeah, I like that. Now, kind of turning the attention off the ice, has there been a funny, like, behind-the-scenes moment that maybe listeners or viewers to the broadcast wouldn't, or even the podcast, wouldn't have known about?
If you're around the girls, you get to know their personalities pretty quick. There's not many closed books, if you will. Everyone's pretty open about who they are, their personality, and are very outgoing. I would say just some of the laughs you have with Claire Carson and Avery LaRose are line mates, and they're very funny. They're very funny together. They're close friends, and they have a great relationship with each other. I went to a practice. This is has something a little bit to do with both of them. They were both involved. But Samantha Lance, who was on the team last year, still on the team this year, but now is in more of a coaching role this season as she's battling, coming back from an injury herself. That's kept her out this season. She's a tremendous teammate, and all the girls love her too, and they love having her around. She baked cinnamon rolls for, it was somebody's birthday, and she was on our show that day. That was her. It was Mia. It was Mia. Mia was the general manager of the hockey team who we interviewed just a few weeks ago. It was her birthday, and Samantha brought some cinnamon rolls. And she gave her the cinnamon rolls, and she's looking for her keys. She couldn't find her keys. She couldn't find her keys. So she when she was walking, she only remembered bringing in the cinnamon rolls. So she had no idea where the keys were. So they looked in the entire locker room area. They looked in the coach's room. They looked in the locker. They looked on the bench. Wherever she was at, they looked.
Yeah.
And she thought somebody had taken her keys. And she's like, as long as my car's still here, that's okay. But I'm the one that I drove everybody here. So she was driving people there. And so she goes out to the car to look, and this is after like 20 minutes of looking around the rink, legitimately 20 minutes. And she goes out to the car and she finds the keys on the trunk of the car, out in the open. Out in the open, on the trunk of the car. I think it might have rained that night too, but they were there. They were there.
That's all that matters.
I think somebody put them there. I think somebody put them there.
I wonder if she dropped them.
She could have.
And
but how do you
someone,
not notice that?
You hear it.
You'd hear it,
Yeah.
and there were other people around her because she was not in the car alone. So I think, and she remembered locking it. So I think somebody took them from the coach's room and brought them out there. I think it was Tebby. I think it was Coach Tebby.
That's funny.
I would probably have to say, like, the girls, like Alex said, the girls' personalities, like, these are some of the nicest girls that you could meet, as in, like, playing Alabama, you would say, oh my God, normally people say, oh my God, Alabama, like, they're mean, like, I don't want to play Alabama just because, how the strip A goes. But these are some of the nicest girls that I think any team has played on the ice and off the ice. They're very intentional, never anything mean, always nice, always respectful. And I think that's the most important thing when you're playing sports, being respectful on the ice and off the ice, because that's how you get, like, respect. Earn respect to get respect. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that's so important with these girls, is they have respect, and that's the main thing that is something that's really important when you're playing sports.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Zane, is there anything for you?
Nothing that comes to mind right now. No, nothing.
We've had some good moments at the rink, though, Zane and I. We've shared a lot of laughs, and we've been able to talk to coaches too during our time. So we've had a lot of experiences at the rink that have been fun. And we've watched. So most of the time on the 2 Saturdays we've had games, we've been watching the football games, and that's been good too. So obviously we're paying attention to Alabama women's hockey first, first and foremost. But we also do keep listeners aware that there's a football game going on, and we
do both.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I really enjoyed kind of the Missouri game. I think everyone knew, like, the football game, and it was like almost possibly going to go into overtime. We ended up winning the game. You can just tell the tension in the arena from just the fans, and even us, like, we were like, everyone had their phones out and
close to their face. Oh my God, what's gonna happen?
It was in the middle of intermission, and even you were like, maybe because they're like, oh, the Zamboni doesn't come on the ice like in between periods, and you were like, they might have done it just to go watch the last couple of minutes of the football game, and not sure if that's true or not, because they've done it for every game. I just thought that was really interesting. Like, even when they were warming up, was like the final moments of the football game, and all the fans were just going nuts and stuff, and it was not because warm-ups were going on. It was because of the Missouri Alabama football game. So I thought that was pretty funny.
It's the moments like that like ultimately, like, you're like, oh, it's bigger than hockey. Like, we're all working to something that's bigger than just the game itself. But what's something that you're most excited for next semester? Could be hockey related or not.
I can't wait to see the Auburn games.
Those are away.
They're away. I'm looking forward to going down to Auburn. I have not been to Auburn before, but it'll be good to see the Iron Cup down there. It'll be a lot of fun. And Auburn, no matter, anytime you play Auburn, no matter what sport it is, no matter how good the teams are, it's still a rivalry.
It
means something to each team. And it's going to be competitive. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It always is.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited.
Something.
I feel like you would have a good one.
I know. I can't think right now. Wait, you go. So I can think.
I just got a basic one. I mean, I'm just looking forward to just getting more experience, just broadcasting games and stuff. I mean, that's like super basic, but I think for me, being able to talk even on podcasts like this is, I'm not not the most talkative person usually. It takes a little bit for me to warm up. So it's been really good to just kind of get out of my comfort zone, and I'm just looking forward to commentating more games, so looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm looking forward to see how the girls play after a break. How they come back and how aggressively they want it after that break that they have. Because they've played so great so far. I just want to see how, is it going to be a turning point? How's it going to be after this break? Are they going to want it more? Are they going to work for it? Is it going to be more aggressive? How is it going to turn out? I feel like that would be something to look forward to for the next game.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm excited too, just to see how far this team can go. I mean, obviously we talk about winning back-to-back CHS championships, but also making a run at nationals. I think I'm excited for that as well. So.
Yeah, I think they're all super exciting moments, and there's a lot to look forward to in this next semester as well.
Yeah.
But for our final fun question, since we're all hosts, if you could have anyone on a podcast, any athlete, doesn't have to be hockey, who would you want to interview?
Does it have to be an athlete?
No.
Is anyone? Nick Saban.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great one.
You have to, but there have been multiple times I've told people, ever since he got on College Game Day, and even when he was coaching here, there's so much wisdom that comes out of his mouth every time he speaks, and when he speaks, everyone listens. And
everyone
listens. I mean, the amount of respect that he demands and he receives is just unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It's crazy.
I mean, I think I could sit and just listen to him for hours, just about life in general, how to either treat people, talking about things like the process and stuff, or, being the best at whatever you decide to do, all the famous speeches that he's given and stuff like that. I mean, there's just so much wisdom that he brings to the table. So I'd say Coach Saban.
I would have to agree with that one. Yeah. I feel like if he was on this, sitting right here, I would be noting everything down, writing everything down, because everything that comes out of his mouth is something positive.
Yep.
It's words of wisdom.
I feel like it's an easy answer to give because we go to school here, but I guarantee if you ask people from other schools, people would probably say Nick. A lot of people would say Nick Saban just because of the amount of wisdom that he brings to the table.
The reverence for Nick Saban here at this school is incredible. It's incredible. People really treat him as if he's a prophet.
He is the legend. He
is an excellent football coach. Excellent. And there was a family that I know that was here, and then for College Game Day when I was here for the Vanderbilt weekend, and Nick Saban was going by and he was shaking hands and giving high fives on his way to the stage, and one of my friend's mother was able to give him a high five, and somebody around her was like, "Did you touch him?" It's like you're touching Jesus when he's walking by. That's the way that people really feel like it down here. And Nick Saban has certainly earned the respect he's given here, and that would be an excellent guest. I would say I'm not going to be a homer and pick someone from Pittsburgh sports, even though I would gladly do so. But I would love to interview Pat. Well, I guess that's Pittsburgh sports. I won't do Pittsburgh. I was going to say Pat McAfee. He qualifies as Pittsburgh sports because he's from the area. Yeah. But I'm going to do a broadcaster. I'm going to do a broadcaster because I love broadcasting. I would want to interview Al Michaels.
Great choice. Great choice.
Do you believe in miracles?
1980.
Probably one of the greatest hockey calls of all time. Definitely the most iconic. I think that's the one I think of the most when I think of hockey.
It's my favorite movie. It's the best.
Outstanding movie. Yep. Outstanding. And he's an outstanding broadcaster, and he's been doing it for a long time across many different sports. And it'd be great to hear what he has to say.
That's a great choice.
Pat McAfee would be a good one too.
It'd be fun. It'd be fun. You can have a good time with him.
Yeah.
That's a great choice.
For me, I'm kind of going the opposite way. I do want to stick to the home run. I would want to speak to, if I could go back in time, the late Bill Russell. He was such an impactful person, not only for the game of basketball as a whole, but during the civil rights movement and how that transitioned sports as a whole into what it is now. I think that he has so much wisdom as well, and he was so humble that it would just be and everywhere you feel like you walk away from and your life has been like changed forever.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's what
I love that one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Well, that wraps up episode 10 of season 2 of the Alabama Frozen Hour podcast. For my co-hosts, Alex Brown, Logan Small-Williams, and Zane Ratliff, I'm Hannah Alpern saying so long, see you later, and for the final time this year, roll Tide.
Roll Tide.